Welcome back to the channel. So I thought this week we would have just a closer look at some of the 3D printing that's starting to come into the hobby. It seems to be specifically coming into the Armour side with these sets that we're looking at here. Now I mentioned this set in the Tiger build that we did, the build review of the Academy Tiger, but I thought if we had a closer look at the rest of the things that are going on here, it might be interesting and worthwhile for all of you to have a look at these as an alternative to other ways of doing this, which is generally etch metal or scratch building. So first off, if we look at the American sets, what I've got here is the US tool clamp set and the Sherman Tank Series light guard set. Now these here are pretty much as they say on the box, so it's a bit better on the back showing you what it actually gives you. Now straight off, if you remember when we did these Vesda M4 Sherman way back along, this set would have instantly lifted that model kit. One set of these and a metal gun barrel and that kit would have been way up with any of the others, because what you get is all of the fine stuff, which is the front and back light guards, and there's a slightly different one at the front there. These are the rear light guards. You also get the tie down there for the tow cable on the front of the tank. Now these are very well packaged. It's a good box, and what you basically get is a bit of resin, well, a sheet of resin, and everything is on there. Now the camera's going to struggle, but I've overexposed it a little bit so you can see what's going on. So here you can see that each vehicle would have one set, so you have enough here to do 4 sets. Now I think this set was around the £10 mark, so if you think about that, I think that's pretty good value, especially as these will instantly lift any Sherman kit, and that would also include any of the Sherman family, even the Greyhound car as well, the M8, and those sort of things. So it's very useful. And what you get is the normal light guards at the front, the one with the cross section, which is also on the Shermans, and then as we were saying, here are the rear guards and the tow cable hooks, tie downs. Now if we get right up close, you should be able to see what you're dealing with there, and you also get the bit that's often missed in the etch sets, I believe, which is here. I apologise, I don't know what it's called, but that bit there has a chain and it glues to the side, and then a chain sort of links it. I'm not sure what it does. I don't know much about the Sherman side of things, but you also get that there as well, which is often missed in the photo etch. Quite hard to replicate. You can see the scale thickness is very good. Easy to remove, just cut away from the red bits on the back of the box. I think it's really impressive. It's something that's useful to have in your spares box, and any basic Sherman kit can easily be lifted with these. So I think they're pretty good. Now following on nicely from that is the tool clamp set as well for the US vehicles. This would also be British vehicles as well, would have these sort of tie downs. And what you can see is you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get 7 sets of the same thing that are joined together, and on that we have 30 tie downs on each one. So we've got 30 times 7, 3 times 7, 21, so it's 210. Now again, I think that's pretty good value. These are around £18 in the UK, and there's enough there to do a number of vehicles. So spread across that, it's pretty good. It kind of goes in with the light guard set as well, where, so if that's 4, you know, you'd think you could do 4 Shermans nicely with all of this. I think that's a pretty good return. The detail is extremely nice, very fine. I'm not picking it up there very easily, but you do have a buckle detail, and we've also got the dots there as well for the holes in the strap there that actually go through the buckle, and we've got some raised detail on the inside of the buckle. They are hollowed out, as you can see there. There's no flash, there's no cleanup. Just cut them away and you're ready to use them. They've all got the clasp that holds them onto the vehicle. So these ones, it's at the rear, these ones it's in the middle. These are longer, these are shorter, so obviously different tools. So you get 4 lots of longer ones and 3 lots of shorter ones. So there is a difference. I think they're, again, a very nice thing to have as an option. Extremely useful. Then we have the German tool clamp set. Now, This one takes a little bit more thought, really, because we've got 4 rows here of open clamps, which actually, on thinking about it, it's going to be difficult to find the use for those being open. So this set is limited, you see. So whereas you've got 2 lots of the early style clamps and 2 lots of the late style clamps, in the middle, having those open, I'm not so sure they're as useful as if you'd had them and they were actually moulded closed. So that's something to look at. As far as this late and early style clamp, we've got large and small of each side. So this is your early style, and it's large and small, and this is your late style, small and large. I wasn't aware that there was a late and an early necessarily. I thought it was more different types. There was 2 or 3 different types of them, but I'm by no means a tool clamper expert. But nevertheless, these look the part. They do look really nice. They've got details for the bolt holes where they're secured to the vehicle. There's recessed and raised areas as well in and around where the handle is. These are a bit smoother, so these don't have the detail. It's asking a bit much to have the sort of lever inside, but they are all open, as you can see. No real issue there. No flash again, all very smooth. You can see the detail on the open ones, so you've got the 2 holes on the inside there. I think one lot had leather on the inside and one lot didn't, but again, I'm no expert. There's other places where you can find more detailed information on German tool clamps, but to my eye they look the part from a distance, let's just say that. But yeah, again, a very useful set. Now this is where, with the German ones, you can make a decision, because you've got this set and then you have the other set that you can buy, which I used on the Tiger. Now these, as well as having tool clamps, also have the tie downs or clamp downs for the actual Tiger series. So the King Tiger and anything on the chassis, the Jag Tiger, etc., and also the Sturm Tiger and Tiger 1 chassis, plus a whole load of these tool clamps. Now on these you've got 1 and 2. These are 1, these are 2. These are surrounded by the early tow cable clamps. These are surrounded by the late versions. Again, I cannot see any real difference to any of them, or the tool clamps for that matter. One's bigger, one's smaller. Right, I see. These are bigger and these are smaller on the internals. So they're the small ones and they're the larger ones there underneath. So that's the difference there. Now I wonder if this set is actually better value for money if you've got some Tigers that you envision doing. If you don't, then these tool clamps aren't really applicable to anything else. The tow cable clamps, sorry. But the tool clamps are fine for anything. So something to think about there. I've got both sets just to keep me in tool clamps, as it were. So I should be good for a while. But I've used them in anger on the Tiger. They work very well. They work very well. They're easy to take off. You just apply a tiny bit of super glue, add them where you want them, and you've instantly improved the look of the model. And this is the best way on German Armour to lift it instantly, is by adding these small tool clamps. It just gives it such a return on the amount of effort, especially if you're using the 3D ones, just cutting them out and gluing them on. The visual effect and the return in the level of detail for the amount of effort you have to put in is staggering, really. So it's very well worth looking at these when you get into that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm impressed by them. I got mine from Hysterex Agent, so I got the whole lot from there. And that's in the UK. And I think that the main reason for showing you these is to really highlight the fact that 3D printing is starting to have an effect in the hobby, and it's going to be a good thing. If you want to see the possibilities that you can do with it yourself, if you've got a little bit of an idea about CAD work, head on over to the YouTube channel Tank Brusher and see what he's getting up to, because it really is quite impressive. He seems to be just focusing on tracks at the minute, but I've seen a few other pictures on Facebook that he is doing 1 or 2 other bits and pieces here and there, so that's very interesting to see how you could go from that angle. And I mean, just imagine if you know about how you design these, or you could even go on and buy the design yourself. once you've got the tool clamp design, you know, you only need to do this once and then you can print out hundreds of them. Now, I'm not in a position where I'd ever be able to get a 3D printer where I am, but you know, maybe in the next few years it might be something that I am able to get into, and it might be something to think about going forward, and I can imagine a number of possibilities where it could be used for tanks and aircraft. Lots of aircraft conversions, I'm thinking of very specific aircraft used in the 1936-39 campaign that happened over Spain, for instance. So that would be something that I'd be very interested in. All of that's a long way off, and these sorts of things that are coming out now, and there's another one, I think it's T-Rex Studio or something like that, they're also making quite a lot of stuff. There's also a company in Spain that is called FC Model Trend, and I think he is making an awful lot. It's constant amount coming out of there. But I don't know what the quality of any of those types are. The things you've got to realise as well, especially with larger items, if you're getting 3D printed stuff, you do have to think about layer lines. It's starting to come into our hobby. It's being massively used in the miniature wargaming, that type of thing, you know, Warhammer side of things. They are really utilising these 3D printers. It seems anyone who's got a YouTube channel has got a 3D printer in the wargaming side of things, and I mean, imagine it, you can just print off the figure that you like the look of. It really makes sense. And it does seem as we go forward, every year things start to get better. Layer lines don't seem to be the issue they were 2 years ago when it started. So there's a lot coming from this, and I think it is going to be the future of the hobby. I don't think it's going to be the end of the hobby. There's a lot of discussion that we'll be printing model kits in the next 5 or 10 years. I can't see that necessarily, but even so, if that is the case, I don't think it's probably going to be a bad thing, and we'll all adapt as we often do. So very interesting stuff, something to watch and see how it goes as we go forward over the next couple of years. But for starting off, this is a very easy way for beginners to get around having to mess about with this sort of thing, which is what the only alternative we had before this. This is a German tool clamp set made out of photo etch, so everything's flat. You've got to build everything, and it's very small and very finicky, so it's not really beginner friendly. This is, you just cut off the red bits. That's all you've got to do. So you pay your money, a little bit more expensive than if you go this route, but you're also paying for not having to mess about. You literally cut it off, glue it on, that's it. Then you paint it and you're away. So something that I think is going to be very useful as we go forward, and it's nice that it's not just all German. Very easy to all these things to just be German, German, German. There is more to life than Panzers. So it's a very useful thing. This here is probably one of the most exciting bits for me, because that lifts any type of Sherman. You're already away. If you fix these things, that's the main thing people are looking at. Then you do all your tie downs. The rest is rather simple to fix. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different. I am trying to break up the videos as we go forward in this series now, mainly for my own sanity and to be able to keep you up with weekly videos. So that's my main concern. So as long as I can keep weekly content at the minute, you know, it doesn't really matter what it is necessarily, as long as it's interesting, rewarding and entertaining. So with that, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the continued support. I'm really blown away by the support and the comments that you guys have given me for this series, so it's powering me on to continue and keep it going. So I hope we continue to have success with this, and a lot of you get into doing techniques that you haven't done before, finding out something interesting, or just watching something to pass the time. So as always, thanks for watching. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you have used these, let me know if you found any problems or you found them to be very useful. There's a link down below for where I bought them from Hysterex agents. It's not affiliated, it's not linked to me, it's just where I bought them from, so I'm sharing that with you. So that's for UK. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.